Hi booktubers, I'm Debs. Welcome back to my channel, Raina Reads Stuff. I'm in the book shack. It's still raining. It's the 1st of October. Happy October. Happy Victober. Happy October. Happy Q4 of Historathon. And happy Occult Detective October. They're all the events I plan on taking part in this month. But today is a reading wrap up for the last week of September, most of which I spent finishing off the Penguin Moderns. I think I read 10 this week, but they're in a Shortyseptember wrap up that I did on Friday. These are the other books that I've read this week. So, during September, I took part in Shortyseptember, Strayaseptember, which was all about reading Australian books. I didn't read any more books by Australian authors this week, and also Shaketember. I'll put all the information about the events down below. I wasn't sure I was going to finish the 3 plays or even attempt doing all 3 plays for Shaketember, which were Romeo and Juliet, Richard III, and Antony and Cleopatra. I read Richard III first because that was the one I wanted to read the most. I struggled a bit with Romeo and Juliet, and then ummed and ahed about reading Antony and Cleopatra, but actually I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of jumping about between Egypt and Rome, which sort of got me thinking about how they staged the plays when Shakespeare first wrote them. I like that Cleopatra is a strong and forceful woman, and yet she's prone to little tantrums here and there. It was interesting at one point she was sulking because Antony was in Rome and she didn't want her eunuch to sing to her. She wanted to play billiards. And I thought, billiards? So obviously you have to look it up. I mean, I wasn't convinced billiards was around in Shakespeare's time, but apparently it was. And in Egyptian times, it was played on the ground. So I'm thinking it was probably, I don't know, something like croquet, maybe. But I think when I googled it, it was one of the Louis, maybe the 16th, um, who introduced billiards in the form that, well, sort of the form that we know now. But it just struck me as I'm reading Shakespeare to find the word billiards among it. Our Cleo was also a bit stroppy, threatening to kill messengers and things. In fact, she physically assaulted one of the messengers, beat him up. And I was wondering if that was where the phrase "don't shoot the messenger" came from, but who knows? Anyway, I enjoyed it. Thank you to the hosts. I don't think I would have been encouraged to read 3 Shakespeare plays had it not been for this event. So I'm grateful. The other thing I did this week was finish this boxed set, C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia. I read 5 of them this week. You can see how heavy it is because the camera shakes when I put them down. I read 5 of them because I wanted to get them off the bookcase. It's a nice little box set. It can sit on top of a shelf in our actual house. And then that frees up more room for me to buy more books and put them in here. So these, C.S. Lewis wrote them. I read them in the order of the story rather than the order in which they were written and published. Um, I loved these books as a kid, so it was just a bit of nostalgia, really. I know C.S. Lewis has been criticised for being overtly Christian, overtly religious in these books. Um, and you can look at it. I mean, the Magician's Nephew is the creation, and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the crucifixion and resurrection. Uh, Horse and His Boy is a conversion of a heathen. Prince Caspian is the return of religion after a period of chaos. Uh, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader is spreading the gospel. The Silver Chair again is the battle against for good and evil, and the last battle is um, Judgment Day, basically. Um, I didn't see them like that when I was a kid. I certainly didn't feel indoctrinated by them. They were a good fantasy story that took you to other worlds and I thought was exciting. And I think I choose to ignore the religious bits in them. I've grown up with a healthy respect for the beliefs of other people, but I am interested in religion, all religions, rather than religious. But anyway, I think the Silver Chair is my favourite. There's a Marshwiggle in there. I do like the idea of a Marshwiggle. He's called Puddleglum, and I think out of everybody, he's my favourite character in this series. So that can now be removed from the book shack and put inside on a top shelf to read in about 10 years' time, or whenever my grandson becomes old enough to listen to them. The final book I read, I've ordered, I ordered, in fact, I ordered some and took delivery of a load of books by authors from around the world because I am interested in reading more foreign literature. Um, and I've got a big world map to put stickers on, etc., etc. This one probably won't go on there. This was In a Strange Room by Damon Galgut, who is a South African author, shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize 2010. He's also the author of The Good Doctor, which was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize as well. This is, it's a triptych. It's about a a man, a young man at the beginning, and it's three travels that he has undertaken and the people that he meets. And he goes from South Africa. The first story is about Greece, where he meets a stranger in a hostel and they agree to travel a bit more together. And they end up traveling in Lesotho. Um, and that story, he is a follower. He greatly admires this young man that he's met and he wants to be with him and follow him. Um, we hint at the beginnings of a relationship that never quite happens. And he he ends up leaving the journey and coming home being South Africa. The next journey is one he takes through different countries in Africa, and he gets drawn in with a group of people who are also traveling through Africa, and joins forces with them. There's some friends from Switzerland and France. And again, he almost gets to the stage of a relationship and it doesn't quite work out. He stays friendly with these people, he goes to visit them, but their relationship is complicated. His relationship with all of them is complicated. The final story, he takes the partner of a female friend to India to try and help her recover after a stay in a psychiatric hospital. And in that one, he's out of his depth. He doesn't quite know. I don't think he has any idea of the responsibilities that lay ahead of him, and he doesn't quite know how to live up to those responsibilities. There's a sort of ethereal feel about this book. It's about loneliness. It's about trying to find yourself. It's about not running away to do that. All of his travels, all three of the travels, don't end well. There's different degrees of not ending well, but none of them end well. And it's a sad book, and a thoughtful book. And it's one of those books that you close it at the end and sigh. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I think the stories separately would also have been good, but the three of them together made them better. And it won't be going onto my board purely because I don't think this novel gave me an essence of South Africa because most of it was set in other countries. But he's certainly an author that I will read again, if I can find any. Actually, I'm very good at tracking down books. I don't seem to have that problem. So those were my books for this week. And I enjoyed all of them, I think. I'm very pleased with myself for finishing all three plays for Shaketember. I'm very much looking forward to this month. There's a variety of exciting reading. So I'll be switching from history to occult detectives to Victorian literature to reading the short stories and poems of Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm very, very excited about it. I hope you all have a lovely week, and that you've got some fun reads lined up for this week. Let me know in the comments below what you're up to. That would be great. Please like and subscribe. It's always great to have new subscribers. I really do appreciate your support. And this week I have planned probably an update on my Around the World books before they get completely out of hand. And there'll be another reading update at the end of the week. I'm not going to bombard you with videos this week like I did last week. Maybe 2 or 3. So I look forward to hearing all about your reading challenges, and I will speak to you again soon. Thank you for popping by.